Alrighty, let's do some angles practice. We got some new vocab. And so, in order to kind of drive home the vocab here, I know I've asked it like in three different situations. So, instead of going one by one by one by one, I'm just going to hammer home. Let's do adjacent on all three and then do complementary on all three. So, first things first, adjacent. Adjacent means they have a common side and a common vertex. So a side, in case you don't know, if this is an angle, this is a side, and this is a side, and this would be the vertex. Okay, if you didn't know that, you got some learning to do here. One of the tricks about the adjacent angle on these is there are lots of choices. So my advice is pick one, comma, that's supposed to be a comma, then start. And if you're like, what? Pick one, then start. Well, there's lots of choices. I don't understand. Well, right now, in fact, I'll do this once. I won't do it over and over and over just because that would like bore you to tears. But if we look at this, if we chose this angle, who is adjacent to him is this angle. Or this angle. Okay, so the green and the red were both adjacent to that purple one. But what if we chosen this one? Well, okay, this red one is adjacent to it. So is this green one. All right. If we chosen this purple one, this red one is adjacent. So is this green one. If we had chosen this purple one, this red one is adjacent. So is this green one. I'm hoping you're starting to get the idea here. If we'd chosen this one, there's this red one, and then there's this green one. Those are all of your options. So to now take it back to let's keep it simple, I'm going to choose this one for right now. That is angle YUX. And if you don't know how that works, Y is here, follow it down to U, follow it over to X. That means we are talking about this angle here between these two sides or legs here, okay? And then from here, I just have to pick another angle. Like I said, we could pick this one or this one. And just because I want to, I'm going to pick this one. So I am picking angle XUZ. Those are two adjacent angles. So now down here, some adjacent angles. I'm just going to decide to go here, angle E, B, D, angle E, B, D. And I'm just going to say comma, because I'm not adding these. They're not equal. They just are next to each other. And angle F, B, E. Those are adjacent. Down here, MJL and KJL. So if you're wondering, like, why did he pick those in particular? Because, like I said at the beginning, just pick one to start and go from there. Okay, so now I'm going to erase all this because I don't want you to get confused. I don't want you to get lost. I'm now going to move on to complementary angles. And complementary, they add up to equal 90 degrees. So In all of these, it says name a pair, a pair, a pair, a pair. That is 2. TWO, that's 2. On these, the adjacent ones, you've got to have 2. If you give me more than 2 here and more than 2 here, that's fine. I would prefer that you only give 2 and then only 2 here. So if you're keeping score, 2 here, 2 here, I'm willing to let you have more than 2, but I am going to only do 2, okay? So here we go. What I notice when it comes to complementary is I'm drawn to the fact that this symbol exists. This symbol means that this angle right here is 90 degrees. And if you're like, okay, well, how is that helpful? Well, how that is helpful is that I'm looking and I see a straight line here. And straight lines equal 180 degrees. And if you're thinking, well, dude, aren't we talking about complementary? Doesn't that equal 90? It does. So that means that this right here is also 90. Because if this part's 90, and to get all the way over to the rest of the angle, to get over to the purple line, I have to go another 90. So now check it out. I have this angle, YUX, angle YUX. No, I know I'm writing it near the adjacent, but I'm scratching that out. We are doing complementary right now, right? Angle YUX and angle XUZ plus angle XUZ equals 90 degrees. There we go. I could do the same thing here, but I told you I'm really drawn to this symbol because it tells me that this angle is 90 degrees. So from here all the way over to here, 90 degrees. So I've already, it's like already set up for me that it's made up of EBD. Oh my goodness, come on now, angle. EBD, there we go, plus DBC. That equals 90 degrees. And if you're not seeing it, the whole red thing is 90. This piece and this piece make up the big red angle, okay? Complementary down here. Again, they have set up my life so easily right here that this angle is 90 degrees. So I'm just going to go with PJN, angle PJN plus angle NJM equals 90 degrees. So just like before with adjacent angles, I'm going to erase all this so that we can just kind of keep things simple, keep things straight. And let's move on to supplementary. So what is supplementary? Well, supplementary is they add up to equal 180 degrees. So you can see how these guys are like in the same category, so to speak, but they are not the same thing. Not exactly, because one equals 90, the other equals 180. So over here, straight lines are your friends, because straight lines have a lot to do with supplementary and with vertical angles. So my biggest advice, in fact, I'm going to zoom way out so I can write this comically large. My biggest advice is to draw, redraw, label the picture. See how big that advice is? Look, there's the assignment. Oh, big advice. So if you're like, I don't know what that means, watch this. Here's my straight line. And I can look at this and go, oh yeah, this is 180 degrees. And I need two angles, so check it out. Here's YUV. Here's this red angle right here, YUV. Angle YOV, YUV plus angle VUW. That's this angle plus angle VUW. That equals 180 degrees. Now, I told you that I am going to go for a pair. I'd prefer you go for a pair. If you go for more, you'll be okay. Next, here's a straight line. Notice how I'm kind of like drawing on my shape, labeling it, so to speak. There's this angle, FBA, angle FBA plus angle ABC. Well, that's nice. Plus angle ABC, that equals 180 degrees. Last but not least, here's a straight line. Now on this one, I noticed that there's 1, 2, 3 angles that add up to 180. I noticed there's 1, 2, 3 angles here that add up to 180. Well, that's annoying, but no worries. We can still just select two angles. So here's this angle, angle PJQ. And how about angle QJL plus angle QJL? That equals 180 degrees. Okay, now let's get rid of all this stuff and talk about vertical angles. So vertical angles happen. Come on, zoom out. There we go. Vertical angles. They are opposite angles that are congruent. That's like a little equal sign, and I kind of joke that this is like pumpkin pie, and that's the Cool Whip on top. So congruent, like that. And here, I'm going to give you some bonus info. They are formed by two lines crossing. So here's the simple definition. Here's two lines crossing. Here's two lines crossing. Here are two lines crossing. These are vertical. These are vertical. These are vertical. But guess what? These are also vertical. These are also vertical. And these are also vertical. So when I say opposite, it's across from each other. Across from each other. Across. 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 Okay? So, remember how I said the straight lines are your best friend? They are especially your friends when it comes to vertical angles. So there's a straight line. There's another straight line. That means these angles are vertical, right here. But so are these two. You just have to pick two. So how about this? YUV, angle YUV is congruent to angle XUW, to angle XUW. And I feel like that's like, there's a lot of colors there. Felt like a rainbow threw up. So let's do this. Let's try this again. In fact, I'm going to just make my line really thick. There we go, like that. So they can be straighter. And now I'm going to do this. YUV was here. YUV is here. And XUW is here. Boom. These guys are across from each other. Hopefully that looks and feels a little bit better. Right here we have this straight line. And we have this straight line. How about FBA? Angle FBA is congruent to angle DBC. By the way, I know that I probably could / should write it right here. I just didn't because I wanted to save some room, but whatever. Okay. Last but not least, there are 3 straight lines here. Oh no, what do I do? Just pick 2 lines. How about that one? And that one. It did not matter which ones you chose. So how about NJM angle NJM is congruent to angle QJK. Angle QJK. So that covers the front page. Now on the back, we're kind of applying what we just did and solving for those angles. And if that terrifies you, it shouldn't. Because just like before, we look for things and go, oh, that's 90, which means this whole angle is 90, and that whole angle is made up of this angle and this angle. And so what you could do is say 90 minus 69 equals this yellow angle. So that's 21 degrees. This is 21 degrees. And if you want to, you could also do 69 plus, I don't know, equals 90. And either way, you're going to get 21 degrees. Okay? Right here, if you're not sure what to do, draw you some straight lines. And hopefully you'll see, yes, this angle is congruent to this angle. So that x plus 3 equals 84. Now, you could probably have solved that in your head. You could probably have said, oh, look, x is 81. I still solved it, okay? Even if you didn't have to. Now, if you're like, well, wait a second, is this whole angle 81? No, x was 81. And the only reason I make a point of that is because if you were to tell me that the answer is, in fact, 84, I would say, no, you are wrong. And I will stick to that because we were supposed to be finding x. By the way, I did forget to do this. Classify them. These were complementary because they add up to equal 90. These are vertical because they're vertical. They're opposite angles that are congruent. And these are supplementary because here's a straight line. And here is one of the angles that makes that up. And here is the other angle that makes that up. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, this whole thing equals 180 degrees. It's x, which was this angle, plus 4x plus 10, because that was this whole angle, right? We're going to simplify this. X plus 4x is 5x. That 10 just drops down because he didn't change. That 180 does the same. We're going to subtract 10. 5x equals 170. We're going to divide both sides by 5. 170 divided by 5 is 34. So x is 34. It's not 34 degrees. Actually, I guess this one technically, yes, that one is 34 degrees. But just FYI, x is 34 degrees. Okay, right here, these are vertical. And this is the easiest one on the whole thing because you just have to look and go, that's 70, that's 70. Moving on. Here, I'm going to pull a move from a guy in class, Declan. Declan does this thing where he's like, hey, listen, if this is 31 and the whole thing's 90, then this angle's 59. He does this, and I'm like, I think that's smart. He says, listen, I don't have to work harder. I'm just going to work like that. And if you're like, wait a second, I don't know what Declan just did. Okay, well, it's 31 plus x plus 4. That equals 90. Well, if you had just subtracted the 31, you would get x plus 4 equals 59. But if that freaks you out, okay, we'll get rid of that. 31 and 4 is 35. Plus x, because that x didn't change. Subtract 35, and you get 55, and the x is by itself. So either way, x is 55. In this whole problem, these are complementary because they added up to be 90. Okay, this looks like it could be 90 degrees, But we're going to stick to, I don't care what it looks like. I see that's a straight line. And so that means that this angle, how about do this? This red angle plus this green angle are going to add up to equal this 180 degrees. So it equals 180, okay? Take the red X, add the green angle, combine like terms, add 4, divide by 2. X is 92 degrees. So yeah, this definitely looked like 90, but it's not, it's 92. And that is very close to 90, in case you didn't know. All right, down here on the bottom, we are not going to classify these just because of how busy they are. And really, that's not the focus, okay? The focus is we want to find X, and we want to figure out how to do that. So I keep pointing out what I like when I see this thing. It tells me there's 90 involved. But if you're a little stuck, then go ahead and draw in your straight lines. One thing I haven't mentioned very often is when I have vertical angles, I like to exaggerate the lines. Because then what that does is it kind of accentuates, it kind of highlights the fact that, like, oh, here in this area, oh, here in this area, those are the vertical angles. So really, if this little yellow section is X, because that's what this arrow is saying, then over here is X, okay? And you might think, well, I don't know how that helps me. Here's what I see. First of all, you have this straight line where you've got X and 90 and 8X. That is one approach. So we take our yellow X, we add the 90, and here, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make this purple just because, why not? Plus 8X, and that's going to equal 180. Where did I get 180 from? Straight line. But you know what? I had someone show me in class, they're like, this is what I did, and I liked it, so I'm going to steal it. They said, listen, if this is 90, and it's on this straight line, then this is 90. And if you're like, well, I'm not really sure what you're getting at here. Well, let's do this. It equals 90. It's this yellow angle, because it's right in here, right? And it's the purple angle. So you're going to notice something here in a second. If I get rid of this 90, then here's what I have. I have this yellow X drops down. This goes away. This purple 8X drops down, and then I get equals 90. Do you see that the left side is the same as the right side now? So I just thought, hey, that's cool. They came up with a way that works like that, and I'm like, well, let's run with it. So now 8X plus X is 9X. And I don't even need to do this side anymore because it's the same. I'm going to divide both sides by 9, and we get X equals 10. Nifty. Let's get rid of this over here and do number 20. In fact, here I'm going to back this off a little bit. If you need to go back and watch it, go back and watch it. So, again, I'm going to kind of draw out my my straight line. Because what that communicates is from here all the way over to here is 180 degrees. So what I can do with that is say, all right, here's this red angle of 3X plus 5. Here's this green angle of 75. Here's this yellow angle of X. And when you add it all up, it equals 180 degrees. So what we can do now is combine like terms. There's 3X and X, that's 4X. 5 and 75 is 80, and it equals 180. Now I'm going to subtract 80 from both sides, and I get 4X equals 100. Divide by 4, to get that x equals 25. Okay, so this last problem, a little bit of a curveball because this is not a straight line. I mean, it's straight, but it's not like it's doing that, right? So, okay. And then this is not doing the same thing, and then this is not doing the same thing. Okay, wonderful. So here's what we're going to do. Let's just focus on what we got. We have this angle. We have this angle. And we have this angle. And you know what? If we were to add those angles all up, we would get this plus this plus this. What did I just draw? I just drew 360 degrees all the way around. So what I can do is say, all right, well, the red angle plus the green angle plus the yellow angle equals 360. Combining like terms, we get 4x, and then we're going to combine 4 and 6 and 140 to get 150. I'm going to subtract 150 now to get 4x equals 210. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and 210 is going to equal 52 and a half. X equals 52 and a half. I don't like that 5. Let me try it again. There we go. X is 52 and a half. So, if you're like, well, wait a second. We didn't have straight angles. We didn't have vertical angles. We didn't have complementary angles. We didn't have supplementary angles. You're right, we didn't. We had 3 adjacent angles that made up a circle, and that equals 360. So the concept of just adding angles together is something that you can do, and so don't be freaked out. My big advice, when in doubt, draw, redraw, label the picture. And in some situations, I mean just literally like redrawing on top until you go, oh, I see what's going on here. Let me know what questions you got about angles.